you're about to hear is the fusion of entertainment and enlightenment.
Monday morning I am in a fog, feel like a dog, can't find my other boot. Tuesday they done cut my power off, this week, hold on.
It's only halfway through, but the Wednesday, Thursday, so much did it not Friday night, Monday, Monday, for the weekend. I really like it all, ready for the weekend. When we go home, and I'll turn my double white trail and the line birds in a party bar. Get jump on my ride, ready for the weekend. I'm ready for the weekend. Morning, I am in that phone, 'cause I messed around and got my phone bill still due. Tuesday morning, the mall bill shook me off. This week's only halfway through. Then Wednesday, Thursday, so much did I Friday night, Monday, I'm ready for the weekend. I don't like it now, ready for the weekend. All right. Just let it go wild.
I'm ready for the weekend. Get loud, ready for the weekend. I'm gonna make my neighbors proud. I'm ready for the weekend.
The CDC has lifted the no sail order. Will we see cruising here in 2021 and 2020? Plus, we have some news from Canada with some more cruising and the ending of the European cruise season due to the outbreak in Germany. Of course, we have these stories and a whole lot more, and your comments here on the Weekend Kickoff Show right after Station ID. You're listening to the Weekend Kickoff Show here on The Tyler Show. Well, it appears we are waiting for, there we go. We have our station ID again coming up in just a moment, but I gotta touch this. Fade here. Your number one source for all things travel. This is The Tyler Show.
Sail away, sail away, sail away, sail away.
Well, welcome to the Weekend Kickoff Show, everybody. We appreciate you being here, of course. Again, appreciate all of you guys coming, checking out this episode of the show. We are back live on youtube.com/The Tyler Show. Sorry for the problems with the software there in just a moment, but we got it back working. Again, we are live on YouTube with you. We have, of course, big breaking cruise news. If you haven't heard already, we're going to get into that in just a moment. But before we get there, you guys haven't already, you're watching the show, you haven't said hey in the chat, please do so. Again, it helps grow the channel, support the channel, and of course, keep everyone informed when we have brand new videos, of course, out here on the channel. Again, as I mentioned, we do appreciate you guys coming and checking out this episode of the show. So again, we have the news about the CDC no sail order, which we're going to get into in just a moment. It is very complex, a lot more than the articles. There is some regulations that you have to follow when it comes to, or I should say, it says it comes with the resumption of cruising again. That's coming up in cruise news. Also, we're going to have last call, which is basically where you come up on the screen, you can promote your channel, you can come talk about what we have. That's the last few minutes of the show. Again, let's hope the stream's doing good with buffering. Let me know down in the comments below. I do have the Tyler Show 2.0 Wi-Fi, which means we should be fine with streaming. I don't know, but just let me know again down in the comments below. And now let's say a big hey to everybody. First in the chat, we have Nathan from Best of Both Worlds. Great channel. You haven't checked him out already, make sure you check it out. So we also have Cruise Pulse in the house. Also, we have our one, the only moderator, Travel with Nick, in the house. Nick, welcome in, my friend. We also have one, the only Hani from the Beach Life. Hani, welcome in. So yeah, it's good to see everybody in here so far. Again, we do have the new 2.0 live stream. I'm going to go check and see if we got the show working so far, but let me know again down in the chat. We greatly would appreciate it, because we are again trying this new 2.0 Wi-Fi. So Yeah, we're streaming right now. Again, the cruise news is coming up in just a moment. Today we have tons of cruise news. As I mentioned, the CDC no sailor, it's no more. But again, we're going to wait until I tell you about that again in just a moment. But again, let us know, how is your day going? And this is the Weekend Kickoff Show. If you're new to the Weekend Kickoff Show, it's the show where we talk everything about the weekend, of course. So let's just, again, hope that you're having a great week so far. Again, I did hear Royal Caribbean stock is going back up. Cruise line stocks going back up. All is good. It's a slow and steady recovery to cruising. So yeah, it looks pretty good so far. But again, let me know how the buffering is going. Let me get some buffering on data. I'm not sure. Again, we would like to know down in the comments below if you are buffering. How is the stream doing so far for you? Again, let us know. But without further ado, looks like we're getting some decent things. Okay, yes, we're getting some good signal back from the YouTube mobile viewers. So looks like it's pretty good. So let's get into it right now. Let's do the cruise news. Our first story of the day, which is of course the big breaking cruise news, broke around 1 o'clock today, is of course the CDC no sail order. It's no more, folks. We can cruise again. That's right, we can cruise from the US again here in 2020 if we wanted to. However, as I mentioned, there are some loopholes today. That's right, there are loopholes. So that's right. Let's read some of the loopholes. So if you wanted to read a document, the CDC did release a 40-page document about the resumption of cruising. Basically, they gave them the green light, but they have to prove to the CDC that they can restart. That means trial cruises. So that means theoretically they have to start up a trial cruise in the next 2 months to see cruising resume here in 2020. And even though people don't want to say it, but the election will play a major role into the resumption of cruising. If the side we have now, we'll see cruising going at a faster pace. But sadly, if the other side wins, we could see it be pushed back and maybe the CDC no sail order be issued again. We don't know, but that's the problems, though. We are so close to this election that it's really issuing. It's going to play a bigger role in the timeline, even though, you know, it should be nonpartisan, but sadly it will play a major role into the resumption of cruising, of course, here in the United States. But again, we're going to actually read you right now. I would pull up on the screen, but my screen viewing thing is not working right now. But we're going to read the resumption of cruising from the CDC website. If you want, I could link it in the chat. I actually can't link it in the chat, but basically, you read the thing. They basically told you, they first in the article it tells you about the lingo or words, so we're just gonna go through some of them. Example, U.S. Coast Guard in there, EDC, which is the Enhanced Data Collection. We also got a cruise ship. This is the CDC's definition of a cruise ship, which I found very interesting. It means any commercial non-cargo vessel carrying operating in the U.S. waters with a capacity of over 250 or more individuals, passenger, and crew, with itinerary anticipating an overnight stay on board the ship for more than 24 hours. Of course, there's a cruise ship operator, which means the master of the vessel and any crew responsible for navigation, as well as personal entity authorized the direct use of the cruise ship. A cruise ship operator may include the cruise ship captain or the cruise line which the cruise ship belongs, and the officers and directors of the cruise line. So again, I'm reading to you right now the cruise ship paper that the CDC writ. It's going to take a little bit to get through all of this stuff. So again, I do, however, want to read all of this to you guys. And let me know down in the comments below your thoughts. Again, we're going to allow you to come on the show and express your opinion in just a moment. But before we get there, again, we're still reading the lingos and the things they have. Another thing that they have to have on, of course, the cruise ships in order for them to restart with passenger operations normal. When I say normal, they don't mean normal. I'm getting to that later in this article. But it says they have to do a simulated voyage, which basically means a mock-up voyage or a series of mock-up voyages designed and implemented so far to replicate the real-world onboard conditions with cruising measures to reduce COVID-19. Of course, it mentions in here the Diamond Princess with unrestricted cruise ship travel, which it will be restricted to an extent, which the CDC has mentioned. During the CDC no sail order, again, reading the whole logistical things, basically talks about the Diamond Princess, It then tells them about how they made the no sale order, then the announcement by CLIA, all that good stuff. You keep on reading down here, though, you do have a whole bunch of papers and stuff. Nothing interesting, of course, with the interesting parts is, though, that the COVID testing, they decided it's mandatory for you to get tested before you board a cruise ship. So they will basically, everyone has to be laboratory tested before they sail on a cruise ship in U.S. waters. Also, a certification progress, which is like the vessel sanitization program. You guys remember that? Of course, we have that one. Also, they return to passenger vessel some of the points the CDC is making. They have to have places for shoreside COVID-19 laboratory screening of all crew currently on board. Plus, we have shoreside COVID-19 laboratory testing. So, basically, a whole bunch of other stuff. Again, this is half the article. This is my first time reading it, so I'm reading it with you guys. You guys are hearing the first, wordings of the CDC no sale order expiration paper. Again, I do want to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. It's basically as we know, is they're given the green light to sail as soon as today, but they have to do a test voyage. So expect those happening in the following days, of course. The Royal Caribbean, I heard Navigator of the Seas will be their test voyage from the U.S. It's supposed to happen sometime in December. Again, I did read somewhere that Royal Caribbean, with their earnings call, which we're going to get into that in another section of the cruise news, of course, they did mention that they're going to release their operations for the return to service next week. So begin any Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the possible resumption of cruising with their from the U.S. Of course, Royal Caribbean is resuming cruising in 31 days all the way there in Singapore and Asia. So good to hear cruising coming back. But we have some other cruise news headlines right now. Another Carnival brand, I think it's Aided Adida. They will be canceling all sailings in November due to the Germany lockdown. So it's a shame that they have to go back into lockdown and cruising has to be canceled on this one ship. Of course, since it is a German cruise line, even though the ship's sailing out of, I believe, the Mediterranean or Europe, like not Germany, they still have to temporarily cancel cruises out of there, which is a shame for sure. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We do have a question. We have the Down Under Cruisers. Welcome in, Sean. Good to have you in here. I am doing well today. Of course, you can tell we have the internet working. YouTube says it's a warning, though, with like bit rates, so my face is like laggy. I don't know, but supposedly it works pretty good. Again, if you haven't heard the news already, the CDC no sale order, if you missed it already, I said it earlier in the live stream. They have permanently ended the no sale order. And we can resume cruising here in the United States as soon as some mock voyages take place. And then CDC gave them the green light. But a country, however, that is not allowing cruising is Canada. They have issued a cruise ban, of course, all the way out of there in Canada. Which this doesn't affect actually any cruises, or barely any, because here's the deal. No cruise ships actually come to Canada during these winter months, as it's simply ice breaking. You can't really cruise anywhere in Canada. But yes, definitely good to hear that the U.S. allowing cruising. However, Canada, they're having their no sale order by Transportation Canada until at least February 2021. This is, however, crazy news for the Alaska, because Alaska, if this no sale order is, I should say, from Canada is expired. Now with the U.S. is gone, okay, we're good. However, if the Alaskan no sale order, not Alaska, but the Canada ports are closed, the Alaskan season's in huge jeopardy, because here in the U.S., people who aren't here in the U.S., we have things called the Jones Act and the Passenger Vessel Service Act, which basically prohibits foreign flag ships from sailing to U.S. ports. You can't sail, for example, from Port Canaveral to Los Angeles without stopping in the Bahamas or something. You have to legally stop in a foreign port, or you're in violation of the Passenger Vessel Service Act and, of course, the Passenger Vessel Service Act. We have, again, a lot of news coming out, but the biggest news by far has to be, of course, the resumption of cruising in the U.S. I can't stop saying this enough. Again, big breaking cruise news. Again, I just really do hope and appreciate all of you for coming in this episode of the show. Down Under Cruise says we are happy lockdown has gone from stage 4 to stage number 3, which is absolutely amazing news for you guys, because I know down there in Australia you guys are pretty strict down there. So glad to hear some of it's getting a semi back to stage 1, which I think is the beginning. I think that's what it means. Again, I'm not sure, because I know down here in the US phase 4 is like wide open. I think phase 3 down here in Florida is, but definitely good to hear. So again, we have a creator spotlight of the week, so we're gonna get into that in just a moment. But before we get there, it's time for, of course, a throwback video. You won't believe it. We're gonna do a throwback video. You may have seen this already if you've seen the live shows already, but hey, it's content, and content's good, you know. Now we can, with this Noah Sail order being lifted, I can make cruise vlogs, you know, and ship spotting videos. Here's the deal. Another part I wanted to bring up, which we're going to later in the program, is the 3 things I'm the most happy that the CDC Snow Sail order was lifted, and what the CDC Snow Sail order being lifted means for my channel and maybe your channel. So get there. But now it's time for, of course, a throwback video all the way back to, I believe, Cedar Point 2018. Gee, can't believe time flies. Anyway, time flies because we're flying all the way back in just a moment to, of course, the world famous amusement park, Cedar Point. Let's go. What is up, guys? It is Tyler from the Tyler Show, checking in at the roller coaster capital of the world, Cedar Point, here in Ohio.
Fight this, baby, come down, let's rewind this. Yeah, we will send to make us last. Oh yeah, we'll drown, we'll swim too fast. Come on, we can make up, honey, come on, let's break up. Like a firefly, burn till the day we die. Make me feel alive. Too many times we made the call that this is it, let's break it all. All the love is made.
And that was the throwback time machine. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that, of course. And of course, we are still live on youtube.com/Tyler Show. Gotta plug the channel, of course, but we're gonna instead of doing the hashtag creator, we're gonna do something really cool at the end of the show. So I'm gonna drop the link in the chat later in the show, where we're basically gonna let you come up onto the channel and plug your channel. So you stay tuned. If you get ready, I'm gonna drop the link when we get close to the final dispatches, or for the final comments, as I should say. The stories that, of course, didn't make the cut, and then we have Today I Learned. Prep everything up for a Friday, and then we'll send you over to the Papa Mozo Show with Blaine from Really Creative Travel, and it's all coming up today. We have live coverage, of course, from all the major cruise channels. Ship Life uploaded a new video today, of course, with his cruise news. So big news, of course, but again, we do have some new changes coming to the show, as it's new content with new times, of course. I'm so happy today, though, that the No Sail order was, of course, lifted. I hope you are too. Again, if you have any comments for cruising, if you want to hear any cruise questions, let me know. Again, this is a show where I like to interact with you guys, people in the chat, and yeah, again, this is our show. And again, I do want to deeply apologize for there not being actually a new video coming out on earlier this week in the Hump Day, or I believe on Monday. I believe there was no new video. I do want to apologize for that, as again, I was a little busy this week, and of course, with all this oh my goodness, can't say that word, devastating news, there was not really much to report on, and I was going to report on the Alaska cruise news, but sadly, it, wasn't much, wasn't much good news out there in the industry, of course. And the Beach Life says that Down on a Cruise, I can't wait for you guys to get to a point where I can go down to plan a trip all the way out there to Melbourne, Australia. So yeah, I can't wait to, yeah, I totally agree. Can't wait till the world gets back to a state of normal in just, just maybe a few more years, we're hoping. Again, I just really want to say that, and sorry for the mic cut out, but yeah, again, we're now running into our creator of the week, which, if you want to be the creator of the week, create good content. Just kidding. Just promote, get some good cruise content out there, and I'll select you for a possible, of course, cruising. And then the Beach Life also says, before I get to the creator of the week, of course, it says, I am doing good, my friend, at the Down Under Cruisers. Going to doing a live show today, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's right. He is swapping places with the cruisers for this week. And I am going to have Midlife Crazy and Beach Please as our guests. So, yeah, again, check him out. He's coming up today at 8. And that's right. I think at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're down in Australia, that would be 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not sure how the time. I think I'm right. But anyhow, again, a lot of things. But without further ado, this week's Creator Spotlight goes to, drumroll please, Travel with Nick J. That's right, the creator of the week, Travel with Nick J. Of course, you can follow him on YouTube, Travel with Nick, and you can also follow him on Instagram at travel_with_Nick_, and you can support him on Patreon at Nick J. Again, support him there. It's good. He's a good content creator, and again, it's so cool that we actually had the chance to and just, just have a chance. I found him actually a while ago. Such a great creator. He is growing, and he's going to be one of the next WatchTube channels in a few years. So again, if you want to go follow him, support him if you haven't already, Instagram.com travel_with_Nick_. So we have him there. Again, we're going to tell you if you missed it, we're going to give you the creator of the week in just a moment. But now, actually, 8 p.m. Friday is 11 a.m. down in Australia. People are telling me, thank you for the correction again. Thank you for the correction. I do greatly appreciate the correction. It's 11 a.m. down, all the way down there in Australia. So definitely good to hear. And again, the creator of the week goes to my good friend Nick J. Travel with Nick. He's our first creator of the week. Again, you can follow him at Patreon. Go support him there. He definitely will greatly appreciate. Again, patreon.com, Nick J. Also, again, Instagram. His Instagram page, again, you can see the photo right there. And then you can go follow him there. Again, Travel with Nick. So that is your creator spotlight for this week. Again, big shout out to the first creator spotlight of this week, Travel with Nick. You appreciate it. He says, thank you so much. No, buddy, you deserve it. Again, your content is absolutely out of this world. And so glad we had the chance to do some collabs. Really great content. Anyway, again, if you want to be a creator of the week, I have another one coming up next week, if I have a show next week. So definitely stay tuned for that. But anyway, how are you guys enjoying the show? The new format, of course, we have the music in the intro and all that stuff. How are you guys enjoying it? Greatly would appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below. And Hani from the Beach Life asked Nick J a question. Do you use Adobe like editing like the Tyler Show? Actually, Hani, I actually switched to Final Cut Pro. So actually, I ditched Adobe. I still use Adobe to this day for, of course, editing with the live show. But I do use Final Cut Pro nowadays. So I can still help you if you need any questions with Adobe Premiere Pro, Elements, I should say. I would help you if you need any help again. But no, I did switch to Final Cut Pro, so I did switch editing software. So if anyone was wondering if you've seen the different editing styles and they're not up to par as usual, it's because I did switch softwares and I have to learn how to use Final Cut Pro. But I'm getting the hang of it. But again, I'm using Final Cut Pro as the software of choice for the show right now. Again, I do definitely love me some Final Cut Pro. Anyway, again, I am going to drop the link in the chat later in the show where we can come up. Last Call, it's the show where we, of course, come up and we're going to talk cruising. I'm going to drop around 5:35 where we can come and talk. It's going to be a little different, though. I somehow, when I did the software, you won't be able to see my face when you do the interview because, I don't know. I'm using a mixture of StreamYard and OBS, so kind of weird, but you come up, we're going to talk cruising with me. And Hani from the Beach Life says, I like the new format, the Tyler Show. It's great that you're always evolving. Yes, truly is good that content keeps on evolving. He also says, I think Josh Holcomb also uses Final Cut Pro. Yes, he does use Final Cut Pro. So does Griffin Alyssa. And I think that's all I can know right now. Griffin Alyssa also uses Final Cut Pro too. So did learn a lot of things from watching Griffin Alyssa. They have a course actually. If you want to check it out, they have a course on how to edit on Final Cut Pro. You can go check it out. It's a really great course. So yeah, definitely check it out. And Nick J responds to, he says, yes, Josh does. His work is awesome. Yes, it truly is. I mean, I can't say Cruise with Josh's video vlogs are just out of this world. They're good. Just for the camera he uses, which is the G7X. The footage is just mind blowing. It's just the color grade, the music, also just the way he turns around the cruise vlogs. He'll turn around a cruise vlog super fast. And Jim Laurie says, hey, how are you? He says, how I'm doing. I'm going to go drive through Trick or Treat dressed as Josh Holcomb fan. LOL. Yeah, that's true. That's good. But anyway, Jimmy, welcome to the show again. Appreciate you in here. That's truly is funny. But again, the news. If you haven't heard already, of course we're going to celebrate because the CDC no-sale order was lifted. Hey. So yeah, definitely the big news of the week. But the Down Under Cruisers says, just looking at all you guys, editing makes all you young guys doing your editing leaves me in awe. You guys are amazing. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for that comment. Again, if you have a comment, anything you want to share, again, we greatly would appreciate hearing from you in the chat. Again, this is a show where we spend the hour talking. Of course, we have some more cruise news. We always have cruise news, of course. But I'm going to go find some more cruise news again. CDC released the no sale orders that you can cruise again. But, of course, they had a whole bunch of terms and services they sadly have to do. Also, good cruise news, though. We have some stories that didn't make the cut. Those are coming up later. But one more cruise news story. The new Silver Moon has officially been delivered from the Finterre shipyard all the way there in Italy. Some more cruising happening with a new ship. That's another thing I wondered, when cruising resumes, will we be seeing the new ships come back into service? Maybe the Mardi Gras be one of the first ships? No, not me like first ships, but when Mardi Gras comes out, she's going to be one of the newer ships, one of the first ones too. I wonder how that's going to happen with the Mardi Gras. Definitely interesting to see, because Mardi Gras, to my knowledge, they having the crew come back on the ship too to get ready for sailing. So yeah, they're ready to cruise super soon with the Mardi Gras. Definitely good news to hear though that more ships are getting come out. This pandemic we had the P&O Iona. We also had the Silver Moon. We had the what's the other ships we got? Mardi Gras coming out. The Odyssey of the Seas, which is slowly making progress. She's not done yet. She actually hasn't even done her sea trials yet. So a little bit in the work for Odyssey of the Seas, but she was scheduled to be out there in the month of August. But back to the chat quickly. We have I have no editing school. Is Tyler tried to help me, but his Wi-Fi was really laggy. We need to try this again soon. Yes. If you have any questions, again, I'll try my best to help you with editing on both softwares. And then thank you Down Under Cruisers. Says that's what Nick J is thinking. And then Jimmy said, I went on the Victory before COVID. It was very fun. And it was he says this is one of the last sailings before the name changed. So that's before the Victory, which if you guys don't know about the Carnival Victory, the Carnival Victory actually right now is actually currently sitting in, I believe, Cadiz, Spain. She's been there since March in dry dock. Actually, I think they took her out of dry dock because she's currently basically sitting there with no money. And actually, Ben, first of all, welcome to the show. Appreciate you popping in and saying, hey, he says it changed to the Carnival Radiance. It did change to the Carnival Radiance, but not yet. It's still the Carnival Victory right now. Of course, the dry dock has not taken place. They actually, when this whole thing shut down and everything, actually, if you guys don't believe it or not, the actual shipyard actually shut down, and right when the whole lockdown thing happened, and the ship's actually currently sitting there basically with nothing on it. So Carnival is supposedly looking at getting a dry dock this next summer. So next summer, a dry dock, and then sending it all the way over to the West Coast right now, which is big news because if you guys do not know, before this whole COVID thing happened, the Carnival Radiance was supposed to happen, was supposed to be actually, in Port Canaveral, but now it appears it will be at the port of Long Beach, West Palm, no, Long Beach. So it definitely is interesting that the Carnival Radiance will be sailing out of Long Beach, and Hani from the Beach Life, who of course lives in Arizona but spends a lot of time over there at Long Beach, she says excited for the Carnival Radiance to be coming out of Long Beach, California. Yep, it's coming there. And also, speaking of West Coast cruises, Royal Caribbean may be scheduling a West Coast return of cruising, because here's the deal. They basically said on their webpage that they're looking at the return to West Coast cruising, and a port in California has also put at the Navigator of the Seas for a few sailings out of the West Coast, which if they usually list the size of, West Coast sailings, which is basically a filler ship. I think Navigator actually is a filler ship, which is, needless to say, very interesting that Royal Caribbean is planning their return to the West Coast. Last year they were doing the same thing with planning a return to their West Coast, but the Voyager was supposed to go there, but it was supposed to actually right now, the Voyager is supposed to go into a phase 2 dry dock amplification, only done like a phase 1 of the amplification before return to service. Again, the Voyager of the Seas. Very complex, all this information about cruise ships, but back to the comments. Nick J says, from of course Travel with Nick, he says, we were looking at the Radiance sailings back when she was set to sail from Galveston. Yeah, I know how it feels. Actually, I knew some friends, Nick, who were supposed to be sailing on the Carnival Radiance out of Port Canaveral for one of their first sailings here, of course, in November, but sadly, that has not happened. The Radiance is now going to the West Coast, which is super interesting, of course. And then Ben says mine is 2021 September the 13th. That's cool to hear. Fun fact, actually, last year, hard to believe, it was last year when I did a cruise on Harmony of the Seas, September 13th. Hard to believe, though, last year we were on a cruise ship right now, which was definitely interesting to hear. And also on Jimmy says on the Victory, we went to Key West. We went from Florida, I think from Miami, to Key West and Cozumel, and it was only like 5 days. Yes, I do believe the Victory before that was doing, I know it's doing Bahama cruises, but yeah, pretty cool though that the Victory is doing that. Was doing that before the shutdown, of course. We were actually there in Port of Miami back in October last year, and we saw the Victory. I did know it was going into dry dock, but definitely sad to see though that the ship's just sitting there sitting there by itself in dry dock with no work being done on it, and it's basically sitting there rusting, I guess. Jimmy also says I probably have some vlogs on his channel, so yeah, check it out. I think he has some videos on it. I know he definitely has some old videos. He did a video, I believe, and some other ones, so check them out. We have the one, the only Blaine from Rarely Creative Travel in the chat. Blaine, welcome in. He says, hey. Good to have you in here, Blaine. Again, if you want to check Blaine out, he'll actually be on the Papa Mozo Show. That's right, the Papa Mozo Show coming up at 6 o'clock, so definitely stay tuned for that. Again, he's right after my show, the Weekend Kickoff Show, where we like to talk everything from A to Z. And Jimmy says, thanks for the shout out. No problem. Again, I like to see other creators, of course, grow and join. Again, YouTube is not a sprint. People, the thing with my YouTube advice, YouTube is not a sprint, it's a marathon, so expect your channel to be pretty slow with growth, but of course with the right connections and stuff, your growth could be pretty fast. Again, we're going on this show, we like to have unscripted discussions, so again, a great show. Again, we're going to be dropping the link in a few minutes for Last Call coming up around 5:45, where we're going to invite you to come on the show, plug your channel if you want, or you can simply talk about the CDC no sale order with me. Again, we're going to drop that link in just a moment so you guys come up and talk with me. Before we, of course, do get there today, we want to thank our moderators in the chat so far. We have the one, the only Hani from the Beach Life Travel with Nick. And then we have Blaine from Really Creative Travel. Our moderators in the chat and of course, the Down Under Cruisers, forgetting them, but the Down Under Cruisers, again, all those are my moderators. Appreciate, again, all of you for being in here for the show. It means a lot having you guys keep the chat nice and safe and clean, because here's the deal, sometimes there is a lot of spam on YouTube, and keeping the chat nice and clean is good. And then a question from Ben: I wonder how often Tyler go to cruises. That's about 2 per year. That's a question. About 2 cruises a year I try to go on, of course. But of course, I have to pay for each and every cruise, so it's pretty expensive. So I try to do at least 2. Who knows how much when we do resume cruising, how much I will go on with the whole COVID testing thing. Who knows? But I try to get at least 1 per year. I did get 1 per year this year, so I'm pretty happy I did go on the Mariner of the Seas in January. It's hard to believe it was in January. When I'm thinking about it, I went on the Mariner, I'm thinking last December, but no, it's January 2020. We did the Mariner of the Seas out of Port Canaveral. And LFT and K says, hello everybody, happy CDC Ban Lift Day. Yes, we should make it a holiday. You know, in the cruising community, the day should be go down as historic. That day the no sail order was lifted. I did, however, speaking of the no lift sail order, I was telling people all week, I said today was going to be the day when they lift the no sail order. The reason is, of course, it's the government agency, the CDC, so I knew it was going to be lifted, of course, today. So I definitely, again, knew it was going to be lifted. I didn't know it was going to be lifted, but I knew an announcement would come out today or tonight at midnight, so I was definitely expecting some time. And again, as people were saying, it wasn't unexpected. Again, if you haven't already, I was one of the first people who said this was going to be lifted. Again, if you went back, I did a video, I believe a few months ago, on Bahama Paradise. Of course, Bahama Paradise, the CEO came out and said, we are pleased that the no sail order was lifted. Which I was like, oh, I wonder if the CEO is true. But yes, it actually is lifted, folks. You heard the news again. The CDC, Center of Disease Control, has lifted the no sail order. That means cruising can resume here in the United States. However, the time frame, it's going to be a little bit, but we luckily are able to cruise again. So that means we can be cruising theoretically by December and even New Year's. If you have a New Year's cruise, could be happening some sort. Again, we have that headline. We're getting that in just a moment. But of course, excuse me for that, guys. Of course, we do have, of course, some more cruise news. With the show, we have the today I learned, of course, but we have some more cruise chat questions. It says I've never been on Royal Caribbean. Okay, so Ben said I've never been on Royal Caribbean before. Sad, ha ha ha. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've only done Royal Caribbean, which is pretty interesting. However, I am looking at doing some more cruise lines, maybe some MSC, Norwegian, maybe some Carnival, maybe even, Bahama Paradise. That's what I want. I'm looking at Bahama Paradise because here's the deal. Bahama Paradise, if you guys don't know, Bahama Paradise, one of the cheapest cruise lines to ever sail on, of course. They're like less than $200 for a 2-night cruise to Freeport or Nassau, but when they restart, they did announce they're going to restart cruising to, of course, the only Freeport on the Grand Classica, beginning December, I believe, the 18th, West Palm Beach. So if you're going to look at doing a cruise, of course, you can always come and go on the Bahama Paradise, beginning, I believe, December the 18th. Don't know when their test sailing is going to be, because by law now they have to do a test sailing. But John from J&N Travel is in the house. John, good to have you in here. Hopefully, of course, as you can tell, we have better Wi-Fi, so hopefully we get none of that buffering. But good to have you in here, my friend. And again, this show, can't believe it's been going on for how long? You got the breaking news. Yes. Funny thing is, on John's live stream yesterday, he said, Tyler, you may get the first one to get the breaking news of the cruise news. And sure enough, I'm the first scheduled live stream to have this breaking cruise news. And you guys remember, last time the No Sailor was going to be extended, I did a live stream saying it could have been expired. I had a great show. I had Hani on, the Goose Cruisers, a whole bunch of people on the show. Speaking of that, we are going to drop the link, I believe, in just a moment. Where you can come up on the show and talk, of course, cruising with me. We're going to the last call. But before we get to last call, we are of course going to invite you on the show for last call, which will be, of course, click the link in there. But we're going to have a discussion. So definitely looking forward to that. But of course, we have a few more videos coming up. And Celestine says I would join if I wasn't at work, bro. Yeah, I definitely understand. Of course, I would join too if I wasn't doing other things. But of course, I understand where your shoes are, and I'm usually in that shoes a lot. But anyhow, we do have Today I Learned coming up in a few moments. So we're going to do Today I Learned first, and then, of course, not last call, but instead of last call, yeah, last call, that's what's going to be, last call. I haven't figured out a name for that show. I'm thinking on the fly, you know, but yes, I am. I am vlogging me a trick or treat. Nick J says I'm currently family, sorry can't join. Again, no worries, guys. If you can join, it means a lot. And if you can't join, I completely 100% understand. And yeah, and also another thing, I'm looking at doing a creator chat show. So if you actually one of these days want to come and talk about your channel and have a discussion, I'm hoping to do, of course, some creator chats where I basically talk to some of the most influential people in the cruise community, with Nick J, maybe one day, maybe Jane on Travels, Sale of T&K, the Down Under Cruisers, Honey from the Beach Life. I don't know, some of these guests, you know, maybe you guys come up on the show one of these days with my other show. I may be putting, again, a creator show where I talk about cruise creators. That's going to get like the spotlight, where you give the people spotlights for, of course, cruising. So that's coming out further in the show. I do digress, though, that I am a little bit talking a lot about stuff. But again, you do want to come up on the show right now, though, for last call. If you can't come up on the show, no worries. Again, people saying that would be fun, awesome. Yeah, so I may be doing one of these shows. Could be either on I don't know, a weekday, but I'm definitely going to be doing one of these shows sometime soon, where we come and talk to the most influential creators in the cruise industry. That could be one of you in the chat right now. You know, I always doesn't mean, again, this creator chat does not mean small channels. Any channel, if it's cruise content or travel, simply, and let you come on the show and have a discussion, and of course free people's questions in the chat, because that's another thing I want to do on my shows. I always want to be interactive with you, the audience. I never want to feel like, you know, your questions in the chat, like some shows, big shows, of course, they don't read the questions at all in the chat. I know when you get big, though, the chat does jump, and it literally does jump if you have a lot of people in the chat. So I definitely do understand. And again, we're so close to the Papa Mozo show coming up. We have a guest actually on the phone right now. He's waiting to come up on, Hani from the Beach Life. He's going to come up into our last call. So I'm going to go schedule that him in. We're going to take a quick break, though, in just a moment and come up with last call. So we do see that, Hani. I do see you. We're going to do last call again in just a moment. So we're going to get into it in just a moment with last call for today. But first, we have to take a quick break for station ID. Then we'll be right back here with more of The Tyler Show. Your number one source for all things travel. This is The Tyler Show. Okay, we are now here with Hani from the Beach Life. Hani, do you hear me loud and clearly? Hello? Do we hear anyone? There may be a problem with testing this out. Let's see. Hani, do you hear me? Can you?
Hello, Tyler.
Yes, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so welcome to, of course, last call. As you can see here, I am having a little, I can't have face-to-face on here right now, so I hope you do understand. But anyway, if you can hear me, I want to let you know what's your thoughts on the CDC no sail order, of course, ending. How do you feel about that?
Well, like everybody else, I'm excited, but just being a realist, I'm also cautiously optimistic, just because there are a lot of hoops to jump through. I just hope, like I've said, hey John, what I'm hoping is that a lot of preparation. I was talking to Richard from Adventures with Pam Richard earlier, and said that I hope a lot of these ports, a lot of these cruise lines have been doing the preparations they needed to while this has been going on. I think they all knew from watching Europe and other things, a general idea of what needs to be done. So I'm hoping that will cut down on some of that downtime, but we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same thing. That I hope that they have got the preparations to plan. Same with like Royal Caribbean stuff. They hopefully during these downtimes they were able to repatriate some of the crew so they could restart when we get the green light like today. Definitely, it's interesting to see though. But you want to plug your channel if you want, or you can plug your channel if you want.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. So yeah, I'm with the Beach Life, and I am a fairly new creator. I do a weekly live show. Typically, it's on Wednesdays. It's Hani's Hump Day Hangout. My friend Tyler here is one of the moderators in that. But this week, another channel, the Q's Cruisers. They are usually at Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I will be on tonight, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you're not subscribed to me, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and come check it out. It's going to be a fun one. If you guys know the channel Midlife Crazy, they will be my guests. And another channel, Beach Please, which is not part of the regular, we'll call it cruise channel circuit, if you will, but they are awesome creators, great people out of the West Coast as well. So they'll be on my show as well. It's going to be a fun time.
It definitely is going to be a fun one, especially with Midlife Crazy on their show. It's always a fun time with them. So again, if you guys want to come up program, we can. We're going to drop the link in the chat one more time in just a moment. So we're going to do that. So let's quickly drop that, and then we can come up and you come again talk about your channel. We appreciate each and every one of you coming on the show. So get back to more with Hani. So get over there. Again, first of all, appreciate Hani for you, of course, being on the program, my friend. It's great to always have you on the show. So another thing
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, and
yes, this lag is kind of interesting though. Definitely is interesting. Surprised I got a new internet. I thought the lag would be gone, but
Tyler, I don't know if you can hear me, but it looks like on StreamYard thing or what.
Yeah. Or you're gonna say something like StreamYard buffered, so okay, so one more thing to ask you, Hani. With the cruising,
I can still hear you. I don't know if
with the cruising resuming here in the United States, are you looking forward to returning on a cruise ship sometime next year?
I am. I have 3 cruises that were canceled in 2020, and all of them were on the Carnival Panorama. I do look forward to rescheduling those, but I'm waiting for a couple things. One, I want to see what the policies are going to be coming out, mostly related to the mask wearing. I know that it's a necessity, but also, travel is an option. It's not mandatory, like, having to go to work, that type of thing. So I don't know that I would want to have to wear a mask basically everywhere on the ship other than inside the pool, which is one of the rumors I heard. If that's the case, that would be a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with the whole mask wearing on the ship. I get you should wear it, but at the same time, again, I don't want to wear it the whole entire cruise. But another part I wanted to bring up, which is really interesting.
Right,
with you.
that's one of the things. And the other one is the quarantine policy.
Yes, that's another thing I wanted to bring up, is the quarantine policy, because it's definitely interesting, because if you read all the quarantine policy with the CDC and stuff, it's very vague with their 40-page letter that the quarantine, if you, like a 2-day quarantine or something, it's really interesting. Because that's another thing that they said when they updated their website earlier this week. It said that possibility that you have to quarantine after the ship. So that's another deal breaker, Probably don't want to quarantine when we get on a ship.
Yeah, huge deal. But on the ship is what I'm more concerned about, only because amount of false positives that we've seen.
Yes, that's true, very true, because there's a ton of false positives. Well, okay, looks like we may be back now, so let's hope we're back. But again, we may be back right now, so let's go switch to Hani. So one more thing, Connie, before we go. Somehow it looks like the software did just have a problem, but what's your thoughts on the possibility of if the rogue, let's say Carnival reached out to you and said, "Oh, you're a creator. You want to be part of our trial cruise? Would you be a part of it?"
I would, absolutely. When I heard that as one of the things that they're looking at, if there's a sign-up list or anything like that, I would definitely sign up, Tyler.
Yes, definitely. I would sure thing would be 100% on one of those trial cruises. Hani, again, appreciate you coming on the show. Again, one last time, people want to find you. Where can they find you?
So it'll be youtube.com/thebeachlife.
Alrighty. Again, appreciate you being on here, Hani. Take it easy, and we'll probably see you at 8 o'clock with your show with Midlife Crazy and the Beach Life or something like that.
Beach, please. Yeah, no
Beach,
problem.
please.
I look forward to it, buddy.
Take it easy, my friend.
Take care. Thank you.
There he was. That was the one, the only Hani from the Beach Life. Again, appreciate you guys still being here, of course. Let's hope we are still live. Go check that on YouTube. If we're not still live, I don't know. Maybe you disconnected. Maybe something happened. We don't know. But again, we do want to let you know, though, that, of course, the CDC no sale order was lifted. We're going to tell people who were here originally. Glorious Life on Reels were here. And something. They were here, so thank you guys for stopping into the show. Of course, giving the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It helps the channel with engagement. Again, biggest thank you to Hani for coming on for our last call part of the show. It's a new segment of the show, actually. So there's a little bit of tweaks with, of course, the lag, and of course, what else we got? The lag, and we also have problems with some of the problems with StreamYard and OBS together. But again, we appreciate Hani for, of course, being on the show right now with the whole entire show. Yeah, again, we have some last minute questions. Again, this is the final comment for, again, Today I Learned, which is coming up in a few more moments. It's good to have all of you in here, as I mentioned. Let's the final comments right now. So if you do want to leave a comment, leave it down in the comments below, and we'll get to it as fast as we can. But of course, before we get there, we have to do Today I Learned in just a moment, which I'm most excited for that segment of the show because it's an absolute fun segment. So without further ado, let's do Today I Learned.
Following information may make you feel smarter, but will not actually increase your IQ. Now it's time for what we call Today I Learned.
It is Today I Learned, where we go through some of the biggest Today I Learns in the cruise and travel industry. Today I learned that the border between Belgium and the Netherlands are so complex that many buildings have an international boarding running right through them. A bank was built on top of the border, so paperwork was moved from one side of the building to the other one whenever one nation's tax collector came in. Today I learned the Seattle Space Needle keeps itself clean with the elevators that draw 100% fresh air from the outside, incorporating a UVC technologies. Using the battery-powered sprayers, a non-toxic cleanser is atomized through all the spaces. And lastly, today I learned, despite only erupting 4 times, the Sangay volcano in Ecuador is one of the most active volcanoes. It is currently still erupting, with its current eruption lasting since 1934. And that was Today I Learned. Again, appreciate you guys staying tuned for that. Again, we try to do that every single week where we give you some of the interesting headlines found on Reddit at Today I Learned, or of course the other threads, of course, on there with cruise industry news and stuff. Again, if you have any interesting facts about the cruise and travel industry, always feel free to let me know in the live chat when we have the live streams, or down in the live show comments below. We have the comments from Ben. It says, "Hey, the Beach Life, are you living with Tyler?" No, he is not. He lives in Arizona. And of course, I live in Florida. He is just a fellow creator, though, so we always appreciate fellow creators being on the channel. Again, we're going to have a show coming up in the following week somehow with Creator Talk. We're going to try to talk just with creators again. So, again, we appreciate all of you, of course, being on this episode of the show. And, yeah, again, if you haven't heard the news, we have to repeat it one more time because some people, they haven't heard the good news is, of course, that the CDC no sale order was lifted today. But there are, of course, some jurisdiction/regulations. But, of course, as always, you can always enjoy the video. You enjoyed it, again, give the video a thumbs up. Again, this is the final comment section of the show. We have 5 minutes to the Papa Mozo show. And of course, we don't want to miss that show. And again, as you read the headline right there, the CDC no sale order was lifted. Again, I do want to plug my channel again one more time, my second channel, like Cruise Ship Time. If you haven't checked out that channel already, I do the weekly cruise news hits every single week on that show. And again, this is your final comments. So if you have any final comments, we'll get them in, please, in the following seconds. As again, I'd like to read them before we head out and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And it's good to hear that we were able to do this live stream for a whole hour with no buffering or no crashing. Actually, the software did crash once, but if you have, again, any comments, any concerns, questions, you always feel free to let me know in the live chat. And yeah, without further ado, time for your final comments. Of course, Beach Life just responded to Ben. But Jane and Travel says at Tyler's show, it will be interesting to see what is next with the cruise industry. It definitely is. And I'm so glad we are able to, at least we have the knowledge that we can cruise possibly by 2020, which possibility. Of course, always great news hearing that we are able to return to cruising here in the United States. Again, I want to appreciate each and every one of you for coming to the show, clicking that subscribe button, and of course sharing this video out to your friends. If you guys haven't already, if you would please, again, share the video out to your friends. Again, if you also tell them to subscribe, it would greatly appreciate it. Again, we're aiming for 500 subscribers by the end of 2020, so support me down below. And again, as I mentioned, we're going to tell you some of the lineups for today's live shows in the following moments. We, of course, at 6 o'clock, Papa Mozo show. 7 o'clock, we have, I believe, Life is Good Today. And then, all the way there at 8 o'clock, we have the Beach Life filling in for the Cuse Cruisers. And at 9 o'clock, the SM show. At 10 o'clock, and the Down Under Cruisers to close everything out for today, I believe. Of course, I'm your announcer. I definitely am your announcer, but we, again, do appreciate you being in here. We're going to close this out in Tyler Show style in just a moment. So again, if you did enjoy the video, as I mentioned, subscribe. And stay tuned, though, for this whole entire week, because we do have a whole bunch of cruise industry news from, of course, the resumption of cruising here in the United States, and a whole lot more. But again, if you did enjoy the video, please subscribe, and we're going to see you guys in the very next video or live stream. You never know. Anyway, guys, again, take it easy, and until the next time, y'all, we'll see you, not on the Lido, but we'll see you in the very, very next vlog. Take it easy, guys.